Welcome back to Ben's Garage. Today we are testing more diagnostic tools, and in particular we have the Topdon ArtiDiag900 BT. The BT stands for Bluetooth, so you'll notice in the bottom here we have like a Bluetooth dongle thing which goes into your OBD diagnostic socket, and we can use this wirelessly. Fantastic! So that just pops in there like so. On this cover here you've got a USB and a USB-C for charging it up. So it's Android based and it is a pretty good bit of kit. Now you will know that I had the launch CRP919E which was wired, so it wasn't quite as good as this, but we'll plug this in and see how good it is compared to that launch. If you've got a Range Rover and that's the only vehicle that you're likely to use it on, I would probably suggest going for a gap tool rather than something like this. Similar sort of price, but you can do a lot more with the gap tool on a Land Rover. But if you're going to be using it on various different vehicles like we do here, as you'll know if you've seen in other videos, we've got a Renault Mascot sitting over there. I've plugged this into that the other day. Now the Renault Mascot isn't in the system, but you can go in through the OBD side of things. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to film this, but we'll give it a whirl. I've got my phone here, so I might be able to get some footage on the phone. So all I'm going to do is pop that out, plug that in down here. Alright, that's plugged in. Now the one downside to this compared to the launch had a bracket that you could pull up at the back and you could hang it on the steering wheel. This hasn't got that, so it's going to be a little bit more awkward. And all I can see on it is my reflections. As I say, I have already used it. I've put all my details in. I've done all the updates. Oh, there we go, Topdon. So we've got all the settings. I think I'll probably just start the car up just to avoid flattening the battery. Right, so I'm going to go to diagnose and we'll do an auto search, see if it finds the car. Vehicle correct. Right, let's do a health report. So I mean, it's all the pretty much similar layout to the launch. I mean, they're all pretty generic, but the one good thing about this one is it's wireless. Let's just do a health report. I like the way it goes through it. It's scanning the car. The interface is quite good on this compared to the launch. Topdon have spent a bit of time sort of making it look nice. There are a few faults coming up, but they're always the general ones, which I clear them and they'll stay gone for a while. It's just silly things like something loses connection with the parking brake and this, that and the other. We're at 71%. So here it tells you instrument cluster control module, audio front control module, driver's climate seat module, headlamp control module, passenger's door module, amplifier module, and then the rest is all green. So I can clear DTCs from here. And that's it, done. So you can go into like your ECM, read fault code, actuation test, read data stream. So let's just click onto the data stream. You know, you can bring up all these things ambient air temperature, battery voltage, cooling fan speed. Okay, you know, and it'll just bring it up. So can you put it into a graph? Combine. So you can do all your data stream, actuation tests. You know, you can do all your actuation tests, controlling cooling fan speed, you can change all that. So you've got your transmission control module, the read data stream here, so see what that says. I'm wondering if it's engine oil temperature. I wonder if it's got gear temperature, gear oil. So this car, you can't check the gear oil temperature. I think the 4.4s you can. It's got the thing on it so that you can check that. So we've got all these different settings here. So you've got your body control module. You can read default codes, clear default codes, read the data streams. You know, all these different things. You know, alternator load, battery voltage, analog, battery type, cranking determination factors and digital inputs. There's so much on the data stream that you can look at. Actuator tests, you know, your front screen wash, trailer stop lamp, and you can go through these actuation tests and actually actuate something. So let me see the front screen washer relay control. Start. Oh no. Right, so that's on. So you have to switch it off, otherwise it carries on going. So that's obviously working. It's quite clever, really. So there's loads of that on there. I'm going to come back out of the diagnostic side of things. Are you sure you want to exit? And then I'm going to come out of that. And now I'm going to look for Land Rover, and we'll put it in manually. Land Rover. So let's manually select Range Rover up to 2012. No, perhaps I don't want to do that. That's better. I'm pressing the wrong button. It's a 3.6 diesel. System selection, because a lot of people like to know if you can do the suspension with these tools. Obviously the gap tool you can, and with the launch CRP919 you could. Air suspension, height calibration, yeah. So I just want to see what it comes up with. So yes, you can. It's open the cross valves and everything, so cancel. So yes, another one you can deflate the suspension, you can enable the suspension, you know, ride level control module and all that kind of thing. So in here we've got, you can reset everything: the parking brake, alarm security, throttle speed, steering, headlamp, battery, brake, bleed, injectors, seat, camera, body, electrical, power chain, EGR valves. You can put it in transport mode, adaptive cruise control, system selection, so you can go into that vehicle information and that'll tell you what it is. So we can come back out of that. Let's just start it up again. So that's all that, and now we've got like the services function. Bleed your brakes, headlights, AdBlue. We ain't got that. Suspension, I don't think we can, if it's anything like the suspension on the launch, we won't be able to get into it on this side of things, but if you go into the car manually, it's all there. No, because I bet it hasn't got Land Rover in here. Oh, Land Rover. Right, well it has got the Range Rover in the special functions. So we've got all of this, like the EGR, the DPF, coolant, the gear, the box, the immobiliser. You can code your injectors, you can change the language on your car, steering angle sensor, if you've got stop start, sun, I've no idea whether that's the sunroof, windows, tyres, TPMS. It's got a lot of good stuff on there. Then you've got your updates, history, settings, repair info, and OBD2. So if you're wanting to do actuator tests outside the car, this is going to be fantastic. It's Bluetooth. I think it said it will work up to 30 meters. That plugs into your diagnostic socket, just lives in there. And it's just a handy unit. So the only thing it hasn't got is a little handle that flips up and you can hook it on the steering wheel. But for touchscreen, I mean, it is just touchscreen, there's no buttons on it, but it is very, very responsive. I was quite surprised. Sometimes on these touchscreen displays, they can be a little bit laggy. But yeah, so far, it's been really good. I'll say it's Android based, you can get onto the internet. If you've got, let me just see if I can get onto the internet. We've got the browser on here. So it says we're hooked up to the internet. Now it says I've got no internet, so, but that's alright. It's saying I've got Wi-Fi. Anyway, and then if you want to just go back a page, you just swipe across and it takes you back. Swipe across and it takes you back to the previous page, and we're back to the start again. As I say, yeah, if you want to be doing like actuation tests under the bonnet, you can have it plugged in the car. You can take this under the bonnet with you, and you can just do whatever test you want to do. Like, I did an actuation test for the front washers. I thought it was just going to give it a little blast for 5 seconds, like it, you know, when you do your wash wipe. But oh no, it just kept pumping and pumping and pumping. You actually have to switch it off on this. Anyway, you live and learn, don't you? Now, I did buy this. It wasn't sent to me for free. I had the launch tool. As you know, we've only got a Range Rover left. The Panda hasn't got diagnostics on it. So, being that I've got the Range Rover, we've got the gap tool, and that is fantastic. I've done so many things with the gap tool. We've deleted the TPMS. I've activated the trailer wiring, which you can't do. You can't do the trailer wiring with this because you're changing CCF files. If I was only to ever have a Range Rover or a Land Rover, that's all I would need. But we've got the Renault Mascot sitting there. That belongs to friends of ours. I will do a video specifically on that. Now, where it comes to the launch tool, because I wasn't using it and we needed some money, I put it up for sale and I sold it. And then I agreed to have a look at this Renault Mascot, and I thought, I need to plug into that. That launch tool would have been fantastic. So anyway, I got in touch with TopDon and said, you know, any chance of sending us one out? And they said, well, we can do you one at a discount. So I did get it on discount. I will put a link in the description. Now, as I say, I've plugged it into that Renault Mascot. Now, that is basically, it's classed as a commercial vehicle. It's a 3.5 ton tipper. It isn't actually in the software. But if you go into the OBD2, it will read the Renault Mascot, and that was telling me that the airflow meter is well out of range. As I say, I'll do a specific video on that Renault Mascot at some point. They was quoted 12 grand to fix that. The truck's probably not worth that. It's a 2008. So we're going to have a little bit of a play with it, see if we can get it running so that it's good for its CT. But yeah, that's pretty much the reason we got hold of this. And if we get any other cars in that are not Land Rover and they need plugging in, we'll have this. It comes with a 2-year update, I think, for free, and then obviously after that you have to pay per year. But even if you don't pay for the subscription after the 2 years, it doesn't stop working. You know, if you update it up to the, say, the day before the subscription runs out, if you update it, it'll be up to date with all the latest models on that day, and then just after that you can't update it anymore. So it will still work, and if you update it pretty close to the subscription end date, then it will still be updated, you know, as new as possible. So yeah, it comes in a nice case. There's a charging cable in there with a power adapter and some instructions. I will put a link in the description. Thoroughly good bit of kit. I'm quite impressed. I believe it does do more than the launch CRP919 that I've tried, because when I went into, like, on the special functions, like the service settings for like your injector coding, if you're putting a new battery on, you told the car it said a new battery. When I went into the suspension on the launch tool, it didn't list Land Rover. So I had to go in sort of like the back way, back into the diagnose settings, manually select Land Rover, select the Range Rover, select the year and everything, and then you had special functions, which was your suspension calibration. This one, you go straight into the service settings, hit suspension, find Land Rover, find Range Rover, and you can do it all from there. So whether it's just because this is a bit more up to date or what, I don't know. But I mean, the TopDon interface is a lot nicer than the launch. I'm not saying that the launch tool was no good, because it was pretty good bit of kit for the price. Now, I'm not sure what the price for this one is. I'll say, but I will put a link in the description. Thoroughly good bit of kit. I'll say I did pay for this, so it wasn't sent to me for free. But yeah, thoroughly good bit of kit. And the bit I love about it, it's wireless. You know, same as the gap tool. Which I don't know what I've done. Here it is. That. You pair that to your phone or your tablet, and it's wireless. You can do pretty much well, you can do more than what you can with this for a Land Rover. But this one, you know, it all makes, all models. It covers everything. Really chuffed. And I say I have used it on the Mascot, on the OBD2, and it reads it. Doesn't go into too much detail, but it brings up faults and this, that and the other, and it's already pointed at that there's a fault with the airflow meter, so we'll have a look at that at some point. That'll be a video later on when I feel like getting my hands dirty. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.